Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Money Monday. Money Monday. Oh my goodness. Money Monday, mid-July. The year's officially half over. Oh my God. What are we going to do? We're going to step it up a notch is what we're going to do, friends. We're going to step it up a notch. We are going to have the best 6 months of 2024 starting now. Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness. Well, clearly you're tuning in and you're like, wait a second. That's not John. That's not Nadia. Who is this girl that seems like she's had way too much coffee today? You may or may not be right. Oh, my friends, this is going to be a great conversation. My name is Jenn Cooper, and before I share a bit about what we're going to accomplish today together, I just want to say and give some love, give a really big shout out to my dear friends John and Nadia. I mean, guys, if you are anywhere out there in the space and you are marketing anything of any kind online, you gotta recognize that John and Nadia are two of the most highly skilled, highly experienced, and most of all, extremely generous givers that we have out there in the social space right now. Would you agree or would you agree? Not only are these guys very dear friends and business partners, but they are two of the greatest humans I think I've ever met in my whole life. In fact, drop below what you love about John and Nadia and what you appreciate about them, because I can't say enough how appreciative I am of everything they give to each and every one of us, right? And also, I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to spend a little time with you guys, have some moments, have some ahas, some takeaways. You guys, I hope that you have a pen and paper nearby, because you're definitely gonna want it. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. You're gonna want it. You're going to have some moments. You're probably going to laugh. A couple moments you're going to be like, oh my God, I actually do that. You guys, this is a safe space. This is a safe space for us each to connect. And my hope is that when you leave here, you're going to have some very specific do's and don'ts to help you really develop your skill sets, the deep down necessary and required skill sets that you need in order to close sales, close revenue, pull in more volume as efficiently and as fulfilling as possible. That is my hope. So how's that for an earful? If y'all are with me, please say I'm with you, Coop. And also do say hello. Don't just be a fly on the wall. I don't want to talk at you, friends. I want to connect with you. I see you, Sarah. Hi, Emma. Hi, Tiffany. What's up, Michelle? Oh my goodness. You guys are so awesome. Hi, Norman. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Are you guys ready for this? Are you ready to close some more business while you're not feeling like a spammy weirdo and an icky human while you're trying to do it? If that's how you want to close some business right now, I got some good nuggets for you. So really today, this conversation is going to be perfect for you if you're in any type of business that requires any type of sales. Okay. If there's any selling component to your business, this is going to be perfect for you. If you don't want closing to feel salesy, pushy, awkward, weird, where like your butt clenches because it just feels so awkward, that's awful. We hate those moments. No butt clenching moments. Here's one. This will be perfect for you if you're constantly getting the cost objection. You ever had that, guys? Do you feel like you're always getting the cost objection? Because if that's you, this is really going to be helpful for you. And I will share with you wholeheartedly and honestly, I rarely talk about dollars in my sales conversations. And here's the truth. Last Thursday, I closed $7,000 in cash. Last Thursday. And I'm not sure that I had much of a cost discussion at all with these amazing people. So if you are always getting the cost objection, a lot of the things that I share with you now are really going to help you. And I see Michelle Dworak is in here. Girlfriend, when you hear things, or if you think of something that you want to chime in with, y'all better be paying attention, because this girl is blazing trails. She is selling like crazy and impacting a lot of people in a really beautiful way. You want to take what she shares to heart as well. So it's going to be good for you if you're realizing right now, more than ever, that selling skills are critical. They are necessary. There's no more shortcutting around learning how to sell and close and learning how to communicate effectively with other humans looking for your help. Okay? It's noisy out there on social media. If you want to stand out, if you want to be focused more on quality of conversations to drive your businesses, which, by the way, that's how you get sticky business. And it's also how you get referrals. Who doesn't want referrals? Am I right? And last but not least, I mentioned before, it's a noisy crowd out there right now. And if you want to stand out, we've got to be paying attention to some of the things that we're going to be chatting about today. So if that sounds amazing, can you guys drop a let's go in the comments right now? And let's take it back to the very beginning. So you're like, who is this chick? What is she? Who is she? She came out of nowhere. She's not John and Nadia. I always want John and Nadia on Mondays. Well, my friend, I sure hope that you came across this and you hang around for good reason. I hope it serves you well. So my name, again, is Jenn Cooper. Everybody calls me Coop. I don't think anybody calls me Jen. Everyone calls me Coop. I am a wife to one, my husband Greg, and a mother to 4 tiny people. Yeah, 4 tiny people. 2 of them I had at the same time. And I'm like 5 foot tall on a good day. I don't recommend it. It's really hard. You know, it's also really hard having a 2-year-old when you're almost 43. So I've got 4 kids total, guys, and a 2-year-old that keeps me on my toes. They said all along, like, what's a 4th one? Well, let me tell you what a 4th one is like. Okay, guys, let me tell you. Right now, I am a simple sales coach. I'm currently a simple sales coach and an online marketer. I am also a group fitness professional. I actually went to college for none of that. I went to college for nursing. And then shortly before I graduated, I changed my major to mental health counseling. Again, didn't end up there. But since that time, I eventually found my way into sales. Although, as I always like to say it, and perhaps this is for you too, friends, I always say that I found my way to sales, but more so, I'm pretty sure that sales found me. Sales found me. You see, so many people define sales in a way that just doesn't resonate with me. They think of sales. What do you guys think of when you think of sales? Like the stereotype. You think that it's hardcore. You got to be pushy. You got to get it done. Like a lot of people feel that energy around sales. But the way I feel about sales, and the reason that I feel like it found me, is because sales is people. Sales is empathy. Sales is service. Sales is love. That's what sales is. Sales is solutions, my friends. And if any of that resonates with you naturally and not like having to talk yourself into it, if that resonates with you, then you are in the right place. You should be in sales. So, I ended up, sales ended up finding me. Okay. Didn't start out so great, but ultimately over time in my career, I have closed over 35 million in my portfolio to date. Now, before you think that's cool, let's talk about the real story. That's my story, but this is the real story. Because we all got a real story, right? And a lot of times what I don't like about social media is you're not seeing the real story, or you're only seeing a piece of someone's story. Okay. My real story is that I went through about 40 or more grueling, like tap you in the face lovingly with a cinder block, kick you in the gut, kick you in the teeth. If you're a dude, kick you down there. I'm telling you, it was rough getting started. I went through all of those interviews just to, some of them I didn't even make it past the first one. Many of them I made it to the very end, for them just to tell me that they went forward with another candidate. And it was so hard. It was so painful. It was such a rough start that I found myself getting guys, whenever you feel like you're getting rejected a lot, what kinds of feelings does that generate? Just drop in the comments what comes to mind. Because for me, the more I got rejected, the more I got told no, the more I got kicked in my gut and challenged, and honestly, in some cases, humiliated during these interviews. And I that's a story for another day, but like straight out humiliated. Okay. I felt the dreaded compare-itis. I felt crippled with doubt. I also felt like everyone else was not just better than me. I kind of started feeling like they were luckier than me. Have you guys ever felt that way? Drop some hearts in the comments if you've ever felt like other people are just luckier. If I could only be like that, then I'd get lucky in business. If I could only do videos like John, then I'd be lucky, or then I'd be luckier in sales. Like, we have this, this weird way of talking ourselves into thinking that others are luckier. And so at that time, when I got going, they finally gave me a chance, right? It was a really rough start. I wasn't catching on like the other new people. And they put me on a performance plan, not a payment plan. It was literally a performance improvement plan, or a PIP, if you will, PIP, performance improvement plan, which is basically HR speak for we're going to can her ass. Like, they were ready to get rid of me because it was more expensive to keep me when I wasn't closing business. Have you guys ever hit that fork in the road? I literally thought me and my cat were going to get thrown out on the streets. But here's what happened. Just before I was about to get let go, I decided that in 90 days, I was going to put all chips in on me. I was going to 10x my efforts. I was going to shift my mindset. I was going to make the best in my company. I was going to make them my friends and learn from them and ask questions, but not doubt what they say. I was ignorance on fire. I was like, I don't care what they're doing. I'm going to say that. I'm going to do what they're doing. And I'm not even going to ask questions. I'm just going to do it. And within 6 months, I rose to the top 1% to 2% of that company and every single sales job I've had since. And I learned a thing or two along the way. And this is honestly the reason that I preface our conversation today, which I actually think is going to be more simple than maybe you're making sales out to be, right? These are what I would call, I've determined them closing codes. Isn't that sexy? Drop it in the comments in capital letters, closing codes. And by the way, don't trademark this because it's already trademarked. It's going to be the title of my first book, The Closing Code. But I would, for all the reasons I just shared, I would consider myself qualified to be having this conversation with you, because I've been at the bottom. I've had to scrape my way out. I have moved forward without anyone cheering for me. Have you ever felt like, oh my God, nobody around me thinks that what I do is legit? Yes or no? Have you ever felt that way? Like, nobody around me thinks that what I do is legitimate. And they're just like, just don't invest too much money. You don't want to be disappointed. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And all that energy around you is just like, it's just like suffocating you, and it's not helping. I know what that feels like. So let's get into this. The purpose of this conversation is to provide some critical do's and don'ts around these codes so we can button up some techniques and increase your skill sets in closing. So I also, guys, do I have your permission to share a bit of homework periodically throughout the rest of this conversation? Do I have your permission to share that with you? Yes or no? Drop it in the comments. Because what I think is really important is that you don't get off our time together today and feel like it was just another training that you watched because you were delaying the real work that you knew you were supposed to do. That would literally, it would break my heart. It would break my heart in two. That would be the worst. If you got off of this and wasted X amount of minutes of your life and didn't do anything with it. So I'm going to give you some tangible things to do to complement these codes so that you can go out there and crush it. So let's dive in. Okay. Number one, the first code that is an absolute do in when you are trying to close more business is it has to do with your mindset. We have to think of building a service mindset versus a sell them mindset. I'm going to say that again. We must have a service mindset versus a sell them mindset. So think about the last thing that you got, the last thing that you purchased, the last thing that you went into a store and you needed to ask for a little help. I want you to think about that service that you received. Okay. Hopefully it wasn't like going into a furniture store because they'll follow you like vultures. You know what I mean? Like they're straight up trying to sell you something. But if I go into, I needed something at the post office today, which by the way is like mind-numbingly, like I wanted to shove shards of glass in my eyes. I did not want to be there, but I needed a service. And so when I think about my experience, it ultimately ended in me being okay with having to spend $260 additionally for brand new passports. Okay. But it was the service that was provided to me. Although at the post office, they're not really trying to sell you anything, but she did. She ended up selling me something. Here's the deal. We want to go, or should I say grow from, and you can drop that in the comments, guys, service mindset versus sell them mindset. You got to get out of that space. And I want you to feel me on this. I know that you have a job to do. I know that it is an unprecedented time in the world, and it has been for some time now. I know that you're fatigued. I know that you question, is my energy that I'm putting into this, is it even worth it? Is it even going to pay off? And I'm just going to go out on a big limb and say, yes, it is. And if we are always, I know that you have a job to do. I know you need to sell more right now. You will sell more right now if you switch your mindset to a service-based mindset. One that's saying, okay, I'm getting on the phone with Sarah in a minute. I'm saying that because Sarah's right here with me. I'm getting on the phone with Sarah. How can I help her? Let me go over and take a look at her social. What does she have going on right now? What is her family like? Oh, she's got 2 young kids. Sarah's got 2 young kids. I know she's trying to make it in real estate or make it in network marketing or whatever it is. What do I have knowledge of or access to that I may be able to help her in some capacity? I'm not going to make an assumption because I haven't talked to her yet, but I want to go into the conversation with how can I help Sarah? We got to stop. If you guys are in online sales, I really would strongly encourage you to stop viewing, anyone with a pulse as a lead in your business. Anyone that has a pulse as a lead in your business, because that right there, now you're in the sell them mindset. Okay. If you really want to do right by people, if you really want to close business whenever you want, we have to get away from that. We have to get back into how can I take strangers? I love how Fraser Brooks says this, becoming masterful at taking strangers and then becoming friends and taking that friendship to the next level by offering them something if it makes sense for their needs and what they truly want. Is there an opportunity for you to help them? Maybe you're just a resource, pointing them into another direction. Maybe you do have something monetarily that they could purchase from you to help them satisfy a need. But we have to stop viewing people and every person with a pulse as someone you can sell to, like for real. And you want to know why? Can I be honest with you? And I'm kind of like getting googly eyed because I'm watching this on my phone too, so I can see all your comments. Oh, Brad, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. What you guys need to remember is that, and why you need to have a service mindset is because people don't need us anymore. How about that? People legit, you are selling to an over-informed generation of humans that with this little device in my hand, or that you are watching this on, literally by the touch of a button, they can get answers to anything they need. They can get quotes, they can get reports, they can get comparisons, they can get what else is cheaper in the marketplace. But what's the one thing they don't get when they do that? By the one touch of a button. What don't they get? They don't get you. They don't get you looking out for them. They don't get you in their corner, helping them walk through a decision-making process and guiding them in a way that persuades them to make a good informed decision based on the needs that they have. Right? They don't get your service. So here's the homework that I want to share with you now. Because if you are selling in the online space right now, this is important. I want you to go back to your social media and I want you to drop in the comments, homework number 1, scan your last 10 to 15 posts, reels, stories, whatever, your last 10 to 15 things. Go back and I want you to ask yourself, was I selling them? Or was I providing a service? Was I, like, if you go to my social media page, I sure hope that you feel this way, but you're going to come across lots of content that helps you with perspective shift, helps you with shift belief in regards to becoming strong salespeople and how to effectively help other people get what they want. Hopefully and do's and don'ts. I'm offering service to you. Okay. I'm not getting paid to do that, but that's what I'm offering you. Don't you think it's much simpler for people to do business with someone that they think is already servicing them? So your homework, go to your last 10 to 15 posts, and I want you to ask yourself, did I, generally speaking, service them or sell them? Or here's another one. Did you waste their time? There's nothing worse on social media because we have such an abundance of content, right? Even Chalene Johnson says, like, people get content fatigue these days. There's so much content. Don't waste people's time. Don't overthink it, but it's also very important that we are considerate about, it's more important to have quality content on your page than to post it all. Quality service-based content. Anyway, all right. Did you guys like that? Let me know if you're getting something out of this so far. Drop in the comments, yes or no. I'd love to hear your favorite little takeaway too, if you would like to share. The second thing, and in case you haven't noticed, I've actually been demonstrating this second thing the entire way through. I've been demonstrating having a strong grasp on your energy. Have a strong grasp on your energy. You see, a lot of times, do you want to know something crazy? Oh my God. There's a reason why people love to gossip. And then, because that type of energy actually attracts more negative energy. And that's why people, you find yourself sometimes getting into like a gossip session, right? Did you know that negative energy is like 7 times stronger than positive energy? Just without doing anything, negative energy is more palpable. It's stronger. It has a pull. So literally, when I think about sales and I think about my role, my position as a closer, my position as a seller, guys, stop saying that you share stuff. You are a salesperson and you should be dang proud that you are a salesperson. Because what is sales? People, service, solutions, empathy. You should be freaking proud to provide that for people in the marketplace. It is a beautiful thing, you guys. So when it comes to energy, I might have gotten a little off track there, but how it's so negative energy is palpable. So you need to be very cognizant. Like, here's what I did prior to, you guys are like, whoa, Coop, like your energy is like crazy. Yes, I do often have, I don't have height. I'm 5 feet tall on a good day, as you already learned. But energy I got. Height I did not get. Energy I've got. But guess what? It's not even natural. I strategically tweak my energy because I'm in tune all the time. So you wouldn't know, prior to this, I was having major computer technical issues. Like I still have sweat marks under my arms because I knew that I had this beautiful opportunity to spend some time with you fine people, yet my power cord is fried. I kept getting kicked offline. Everything was slow and getting bogged down. Nothing was working. It wasn't working. So immediately my energy was what? Negative. And it was just like, and then it was eating at me and I'm like, da, 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 da. It's like chomping away at my soul, chomp, 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 chomp. And I need you to think about that when you are going to work, when you are going into your sales conversations and you are navigating them. You got to make sure your energy is in check, because I love this analogy. I heard it from I think it was a monk, like a very old school monk, leadership coach or spiritual coach. He said, water is an energy source, but it grows both weeds and flowers. So whatever energy you might be feeding into in your mind and in your soul, I want you to know that if you are not in tune to immediately shifting, you might be growing weeds inside instead of flowers. And if you think that energy doesn't transfer to your prospects in a conversation, I promise you it does. If you're like, I fake it till I make it. Well, guess what, Bill? Are your sales as explosive as you would like them to be right now? Or are people kind of indifferent talking with you? Are they ghosting you? Are they telling you the cost objection? Are they kind of just falling off and not getting back to you? That could be your energy, boo-boo. I'm just saying. And so when I was having all those technical issues, I came back. I took some deep breaths. I imagined myself here with each of you fine people. And I thought, how can I help them today? What do I know that I can bring and serve them with today? And I started feeling good and I started getting excited. And I'm like, I'm not even going to think about the computer issues. You can even ask my mastermind that I just hopped off of prior to this. I said, we're not even going to put it out there, folks. It's going to be great. There's going to be no computer issues. All the right people are going to be present with me, like Ray and Anne Marie and Carol and Sarah and Pua. We're all going to be here together and it's going to be great. Why did I do that? to immediate, because I felt my energy going towards the weeds. It was kind of blah. And I'm like, no, these people deserve more than that. I'm going to shift my energy. A lot of times in your conversations, you know what can help you? What Tony Robbins always suggests. He says, change your state, right? What is that? What do you guys do? To drop in the comments, what do you do to change your state? Because if I know I'm going into a big sales conversation, or maybe I'm prospecting someone that is super sharp and probably makes seemingly a lot more money than I do. They're a lot more successful than me. And while for some of you that could deter you, there's others of you that are like, no, what I have can help this person. What I know about what I have is a really beautiful fit for what I know about this person. And so when I'm going into a high profile sales conversation, I might even just start pacing around my yard. I also like to do it on my walking pad. Why? Because my energy changes. You see, you're never going to be, I always say this, people want to do business with people that are more fun. People that got good energy, they got good vibrations, they're vibing really high. I want you to think when you are in forward motion, walking on a walking pad. When I record my podcast, I'm literally pacing around my bedroom because it has good walls. And so the sound is really good. And it's got big open windows so I can see the sunlight. But why am I also pacing? Because it's really hard to not be having fun and being pissed off if you're in forward motion. It's hard. You can't be on a jet ski, friends, and just be like, ho hum, riding the waves, ho hum. Nope. It doesn't make sense. When you're on a jet ski, you're like all happy, right? It's a different energy when you're moving forward. So I want you to remember that when you're having your sales conversations, whatever energy you bring in, it's going to transfer to your prospects. I know now you're all picturing like, man, I wish I was on a jet ski. All right, let's keep going. Okay, number 3. This is probably the most important one. Are you ready? Drop this in the comments. The master asker always wins. The master asker always wins. Always. What do I mean by what's a master asker? The person who knows intuitively the right questions to ask, such that it gets your prospect thinking and reflecting and digging and envisioning and almost getting to that point where they're like, enough is enough. I need to change this. The master asker always wins. If you don't know how to do anything else to close efficiently, guys, and to close more business, I would suggest becoming a master asker. This takes practice. It takes some deep thought, some really deep thought, guys. This is the deal breaker. This is the deal breaker of most sales. I'm telling you right now, if you are someone, yes or no, have you ever said, do you have any questions? Or let me know if you have any questions, Susan. Guys, hands up in the comments or drop a me if you've ever said that before. Let me know if you have any questions. That right there, I'm telling you, that right there, don't say that anymore. Don't say that anymore. Because you really want to be focusing on questions that open a door for further connection, aka open-ended questions. I want you to think of open-ended questions like an open door, like an open opportunity to share with me more, Rhonda. What you got going on? Why are we having this conversation today? Talk to me. You want to make them more open-ended questions. And also, here's what you don't want to do when you are asking questions, when you are asking people questions, you want to be very careful not to. A lot of times what I see is people will ask a question, or they'll say, do you have any more questions? And the person will say, how much does that cost? And then the other person, the seller, will go right into explaining why it makes so sense, why they're starting to justify the price before they even know if it's a true objection. It was just a question, right? And sometimes I'll even see them do, I see a lot of social sellers do this, guys. They start to tell people in their marketing almost like what they need to give up in order to have their problem solved, or in order to experience their product. Like, don't tell people what they need to give up, right? Your job as a master asker is to encourage them, to think deeper, such that they are left with this feeling of, how can I not at least try? How can I not at least, give it a shot? And you don't want to be focusing on telling them what it's like. How do I not have a Starbucks cup near me? I always have a Starbucks near me. If somebody told me that if I just gave up my Starbucks because it costs $4.50 a day, and you multiply that by X amount of days a week, and this much money would actually pay for their product, I'd be like, I want my Starbucks. Don't tell me what I need to give up. You want to be causing them to imagine, by asking the right questions, imagine themselves with their problem solved, such that they actually are the ones asking you. So, Emma, I don't know if any of that is there something you have that can help me with that? Right? Okay. So here's your homework. Okay. And here's the sad thing is I would say 95% of you won't even take up my offer on this homework. Okay. But I'm telling you, back when I was sucking and dead last in medical sales, this is what I did. And I eventually found my favorite golden nuggets that made me the master asker. And now I'm able to be a master asker in every sales conversation I have. In fact, some of you on here may have had sales conversations with me. You can tell me if I'm making this up or not. So here's your homework. I want you to create a bank of open-ended questions about your product, your service, your offer, whatever it is you got. I want you to make a bank, just word dump. A bunch of open-ended, open door, open the floor for them to share more with you. I want you to test them out and find the ones that people respond to and engage with you the most. Can you do this, friends? Drop it in the comments. Create a bank of open-ended questions. That's homework number 2. How are we feeling? Do you guys have time for a few more? Do we have time for a few more? I see more people jumping on. So this tells me that this has been beneficial for you. Gosh, I certainly hope so. Remember, it would break my heart if you felt like this was a waste of time. So let's keep going. Here's number 4. Okay. Drop this in the comments. Acquire buy-in all throughout. Acquire buy-in all throughout. You see, so many of you guys are like, oh my gosh, I get to that moment at the end of the conversation and I feel so weird and I feel like I should say something. And then I'm like afraid to say it because I don't want to sound weird and awkward, but already you sound weird and awkward. And then you end up defaulting to, let me know if you have questions. Right? No más, mi amigos. So you want to acquire buy-in all throughout the conversation. This right here will prevent many of you from getting ghosted and ignored like you might be. Because guess what? My podcast was actually about this morning. Your number 1 goal in business is to learn how to become unignorable. Okay? When you acquire buy-in, and here's what I mean. When my sales conversations begin, before, say Carol says, hey, Coop, how much does that thing I saw on social media, how much does that cost? My first question, first I take it privately and I say, Carol, I'm so glad to connect with you. Yes, of course, I'll answer any specific questions you have on pricing. But if I may ask before we get going, what did you see or read or feel that made you want to reach out and connect? What's going on with you right now? How can I help? That right there is the start of a beautiful conversation. You might want to write down that verbiage, friends, because it really just opens the door to say, hey, I'm here to service you, not sell you. How many of y'all are like, when they say, how much does that cost? You send over a pricing sheet, you send them your website, and you're like, oh, get a coupon. And you're like, let me add you to this group and all the things. No. Back up. Go ahead and ask them to share more. When you get a few nuggets to move forward on, your instinct is going to be to go ahead and share those nuggets. Acquire buy-in all throughout. This is what I would do. When you see an opportunity based off what they share, where you're like, you feel like you can give it back, here's what you say. Carol, I'll use you because I already started using you. Carol, oh my goodness, this is great conversation. And let me just first say thank you for sharing a bit more with me, because this helps me understand your stance right now. A few things did come to mind as you shared with me. Is it cool if I touch on them? Ask for buy-in all throughout. I do not move forward in a conversation without asking permission to move forward. So as to say, hey, are we still here together? Like, are you with me? Like, is that cool? Are you all right with that? Does that sound like a good idea? Let me know. I'd love to share more. Like, ask for buy-in all throughout. Why do we do this? Because then Carol's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. Yes, that would be great. What is she already starting to do? One, she feels that I care, which is good because I do. And two, she's getting used to coming into agreement with me, and almost like a dance, right? Acquire buy-in all throughout. It happens from the beginning of the conversation all the way through to the end. This is a huge piece, a huge reason that I feel many people get ghosted is they're not acquiring their buy-in throughout. They're sharing, they're info dumping, they're dumping the hot bowl of soup in their face all at once instead of spoon feeding a little bit at a time and asking permission to move forward. Woo-hoo! I hope that you guys got something out of that. Here's number 5, okay? Number 5, ask for the trial only when you've earned the right. That's huge. See, most of you all are probably defaulting to, let me know if you have questions, kind of shutting the door. Ask for the trial when you've earned the right. I want you to think, okay, something like this. Emma, this has been so special. And guys, be sincere. Don't be a jackass. Like, say it if you mean it. If you don't mean it, don't say it, because that energy is gonna come through. Okay. So if I say, Emma, I just thank you for spending this time with me today. I know that was probably a lot to share. And I just want you to know that I appreciate your vulnerability and for opening up and being honest about what's really going on at the heart of it right now. After we discussed XYZ together, I can't help but feel like that was a solid solution. Like, are you on board with that? Or like, are you in agreement with me? Emma says, yeah, I actually did feel that way. Awesome. Emma, I actually am getting somebody else set up really quick with their stuff later. Is there anything holding you back from giving this a shot today? Guys, so many people don't ask for the business, but if you earn the right, meaning you feel like you've connected, you've taken the time to you've sought understanding from them. Why? Because people will always unequivocally do business with those they feel understand them. I'll just say that again. People will always do business unequivocally with those they feel understand them. How do you understand them? Well, you become that master asker. You acquire buy-in all throughout. Offer opportunity during getting that buy-in so that if they need to, offer some clarity, if you misunderstood something, you give them an opportunity to do that. And then you move on after asking permission. But you've got to ask, you have to earn the right. When you go to someone and say, hey, I'm up for a big prize, red flag, that's totally self-driven and a terrible way to conduct business and close sales, in my personal opinion. Good on you if it works for you. I think it's sleazy, inward, and inconsiderate. I think it's trashy and sleazy, but there, come at me, Karen. No, don't come at me because I don't really care. This is my stance and I'm sticking to it. I feel that we all need to earn the right to ask people to give it a shot, whatever, or to partner with you or to give your service a shot. I think you need to earn the right prior to asking. Don't default to and if you feel weird, all that means is you don't know enough. Go back to the beginning and ask some more questions. You guys, last but not least, and then we're going to wrap up here because I've taken way too much of your time, but I want to know, what's your favorite nugget so far? Will you please share? Because selfishly, this helps me as well build more relevant content to help serve you greater. So tell me what resonated most with you so far. Okay, drop it in the comments. And here's last but not least. Number 6, nail down your follow-up system. Because so many of you are probably getting ghosted, or maybe someone's not getting back to you and you're like, I don't want to be weird. How soon is too soon? What should I say? I don't want to bother them. The only bad follow-up system, because then you're probably like, well, Coop, what's the formula? What's the secret sauce? How do I do it? You guys, the only bad follow-up system is not to have one. Okay, not to have one. You could use an old school notebook. I know John uses his notebook. You could use a notebook. You could use Trello. You could use the SOS system that my girl Mindy created. You could do a whiteboard. You could do phone notes in your phone. If you're always on the go, like me, I'm always on the go. I do keep a lot of notes in my phone. Okay, whatever works best for you, but truly, your job and my job is to find creative techniques to follow up with people appropriately. It doesn't always mean, hey, Ray, you thought any more about the whatever product? You thought any more about that thing? Hey, Carol, you thought any more about that moisturizer? Sarah, you thought any more about that shampoo? Like, it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to always be about business. Your job is to get creative, to gently touch on them. Here's the truth. You need to be thinking of 2 things when you follow up and gently touch people. And you got to have these things at the heart of why you're reaching out to them. 2 things. You're touching on them to say, you're not, remember, service mindset, not sell them mindset. You are touching them, not inappropriately. You all know what I mean. Come on. You're thinking 2 things underlying your underlying motive. 1, hi, I'm here. 2, I care. Drop that in the comments. I'm here and I care. You know why John is probably the best at follow-up that I think I've probably ever seen. And it's so good because he cares so deeply about your outcomes. He wants you to succeed. He wants you to crush it. Why does he show up every single day with such generous boatloads of not just like a video? It's like a million videos and then a million reels and then also posts and conversation starters and stories and all these things he offers because he's here and he cares about your success. You got to be embodying that, friends. You can't be thinking, oh my God, it's the end of the month and I'm sucking. I haven't hit my rank, re-ranked again, and I got bills to pay. No, stop it. You got to stop that. I know you do. You are right. You are justified. But remember, we got to master our energy because that energy brews, it grows the weeds, and that, whether you know it or not, is transferring over to your prospects. You got to be thinking, I'm here. I'm here, Rhonda, and I care. Okay? How can I help you right now? Or can I help you right now? Have you found a better alternative? If so, I hope you have. I hope you're doing wonderfully with it. But if for any reason you haven't, I'd love to keep this conversation open and see if there's still an opportunity to help you out because you care. Got it? Okay. Here's another thing. So many of you guys you're thinking, I don't want to follow up because I don't want to be pushy and weird. Because you don't want to rub them the wrong way. And you're like, well, if they really wanted it, they'd reach out to me. Not true. There's actually two things I'm in the market for right now that I actually really want. And the people are not following up with me. So I just keep putting it off. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to buy it. I'm telling you, if they were to follow up with me with a service-based mindset, that they're here, that they care, that they want to help me, bridge the gap between what I don't have and what I want, I'm telling you, I would absolutely have already made those purchases. And I know what two they are, and I know what two people they are, and they're not following up. You think that you're going to piss them off. You want to know the truth? They ain't thinking about you. How about them apples? Guys, they ain't thinking about you. Are you going to be thinking about me after this video? Well, I hope you are, because I hope it was that compelling, but you know what I mean. No, you're going back to work. You got a job to do. Your kids are all over the place. You're carting to activities and you're planning the vacations and you're like, shit, it's 5:00 and I don't know what I'm making for dinner. They ain't thinking about you. They're not. You will care less about what others think of you when you realize how little they do. Drop some hearts if you felt that one. I hope that was helpful for you. Okay, here's your homework, okay? I want you to list all the creative ways, without being a weirdo, what are some creative techniques that you could gently nudge someone and stay at the forefront of their mind? What are some creative things that you could do? Is it going to their profile and learning something that, some things that interest them? What about checking out their stories and maybe leaving them a little heart? Don't leave the thumbs up. Leave a little heart or something, or like clappy hands or like the cheering emoji. Don't leave a thumbs up. If you know, you know. But is it changing the color of your text thread in Messenger to bump it back up? Emma says, give them a compliment. Yes, you can give them a compliment, but only if you mean it, only if it's true. What I like to do is if I'm going to do that, I will recognize something specific that I saw, and I will message them. My girlfriend's a realtor, and a gentle way that I have come back into conversation with her is I've said, you know what, babe, I don't know if you know this or not, but your ability to condense your message into such a short message is so profound that I almost envy it, because here I am 54 minutes into this conversation with you guys, And I'm like, I probably could have done it in 39. But I'm having so much fun with you, to be honest. Are you guys having fun? I hope you're having fun, and I hope it was worth your while. But I would reach out and touch on her and tell her specifically what I noticed, very specific, and why it mattered to me. Okay. I literally have a Post-it over my desk that says, land the effing plane, Coop. That is true. Okay, moving on. So your homework is to brain dump all the creative ways that you could gently nudge someone to say, to stay at the forefront of their mind, because when they are ready, you want them thinking of you. They ain't going to be thinking about you if you don't position yourself at the forefront. You guys, these are some closing, I hope today was helpful for you. The closing codes that we discussed are not all the ones that I share, but they are, managing objections is also it's a whole other conversation. I actually have a free training on that. If you guys would like it, you can just hop in my inbox. But I'd love to hear from you if you feel that anything you heard today could help you navigate a successful sales cycle all the way through the close, where you earn the right to do it and you can implement some of these things right away. I'd love to hear from you what those things were. So feel free to, message me anytime. It's me in my inbox. It's not a bot or anything. Stephanie was asking about managing objections about price. I have a whole thing on that. I think you'd probably like my freebie on that. And if you would like that, guys, you can just drop hashtag objections in the comments and I can get that over to you. I hope this was helpful. You guys, let me know. Let's connect privately. I do care about your success, as John and Nadia do as well. I don't know that I know anyone more dedicated to your next wins than the Meltons. And I'm so honored and privileged to have been able to host Money Monday and have this time with you guys. And I can't wait to see, what you took from it and celebrate you as you start to implement some of these strategies. Have an amazing day.